So I've been doing a lot of work recently with both global developers and investors to help them think about deploying approaches for sustainable city development and regeneration. I thought it might be quite interesting to share some of those learnings with you today. So what I tend to do with my clients is to get them to close their eyes and think about what we mean by a sustainable city. Why don't you do this with me whilst I talk? So is it the safe neighbourhood you once played in as a child? In fact, is it being able to stroll or cycle through a beautiful park to work in the morning? Or is it living in a new development of green buildings full of innovative renewable technologies? Perhaps it's all of these things and more. I would then suggest that my client repeats this exercise with his or her stakeholders to come up with a shared sustainability vision for the development. So in terms of the main challenges and the main reasons why sustainable neighbourhood and city development is so difficult, I think there are 4 of them. Firstly, there's the long gestation. A development timeframe is often 10 to 20 years. Projects stop and start before they get off the ground, subject to the external forces of funding and planning. Secondly, there's the issue of phasing, whereby you need to consider and address different environmental and social impacts prior to the development, during construction, and then during building or operational or legacy phase. Thirdly, neighbourhood developments are so complex spatially. You need to consider impacts at an individual building level, site-wide, and then outside the domains of the site. And finally, there is the issue of unexpected outcomes. A neighbourhood scale development is a rare opportunity for a once-in-a-generation transformation, but the pitfalls are huge. Visionary architects of the 60s and 70s certainly did not design their social houses in the sky, thinking that one day they would turn into the decrepit estates of the future. And so what are the evolving solutions to these challenges? I think there are a number of evolving solutions. The first of these is green building rating systems. Typically, a global developer will make a site-wide commitment to LEED Gold or BREEAM Excellent. And in London, major regeneration projects such as Stratford City, Greenwich Peninsula and Elephant and Castle have set goals to achieve BREEAM Excellent and Code for Sustainable Homes Level 4 standards across the development. These rating systems have the advantage of having become a global norm. So as an indication, Jones Lang LaSalle now has over 1,000 accredited professionals worldwide, the vast majority accredited to LEED. And they also bring certainty for design teams and assist with driving asset quality. But they only address environmental design at a micro level and none of the larger challenges I've just mentioned. So what about neighbourhood ratings? That is definitely one of the evolving tools in the armoury of the master planner and master developer. Those are rating systems such as BREEAM for communities and LEED for neighbourhood development. These tools do endeavour to address the challenges of both long gestation and spatial complexity on site. And they also aim to take a more holistic view of environmental and social concerns. But are they the panacea? The short answer is that despite their successes, they aren't the panacea. Most importantly, they definitely do not encapsulate the myriad facets of a sustainable neighbourhood once buildings and spaces are occupied for work, home and play. At that point, we start being concerned about how inhabitants and tenants behave. Do they understand the WYSI smart meters? Do they use recycling chutes correctly? How long does this technology last? And what about the community itself? Are crime levels low? Are the mixed-use environments bringing jobs and economic development? Are people healthier and happier than they would be in another neighbourhood? So what is the solution? Well, Jones Lang LaSalle's approach certainly recognises the importance of rating systems for crafting sustainable neighbourhoods. But we also think that these systems are no substitute for a holistic vision set over 20-30 years or a strategic plan to turn that vision into reality. Now, our work with global developers and city authorities, as well as our research partnership with the Carbon Disclosure Project for Cities, has enabled us to develop 8 catalysts for sustainable city and neighbourhood development. These include aspects like setting a strong vision, such as Amsterdam's Park 2020 has done, setting meaningful targets and communicating transparently about successes and failures, as the Olympic Games and its fantastic Learning Legacy website does. And also innovation. Consider, for example, Singapore's Gardens by the Bay and its super trees. Now you can read all about these catalysts and more details about these projects on our Global Sustainability Perspective May 2012 edition.